You're welcome. We'll just want details and see who needs to stay and. Oh, it was.
How is everybody? Y'all all in line for food? Everybody getting your food? We'll give y'all just a minute to grab your lunch and then grab a seat. We're going to get started in just a minute. So hang in there in the line. It smells good.
It's amazing.
Everybody says it's good that's eating.
Can we get leftovers for dinner?
You can take leftovers, I'm sure, right? I love that. So I'll give you a head start. You can start thinking about what you're grateful for, what's good going on in your life, so that when I get to it, there's not an awkward silence. So you've been warned. You know it's coming. Why are y'all so quiet? Why is everybody so quiet?
They're afraid to sit down.
No, not yet. Did she invite it today?
I told her she was welcome.
I want to give you a hug. You did. All right. I think she was like, okay, I feel good about it. Soon. So nice to see you. There's another
It's his birthday. Yes. All right, Carmen. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started while y'all get your food and come on up. I know there's a few people trickling in still. So let's jump in. All right, so I gave you a fair advance. If this is your very first team meeting before we get to our something good today, if you've never been to a team meeting as an agent with us, if you'd stand up or raise your hand, I want to make sure we introduce y'all. Stand up. We're going to let you say hello. This is the one time we put you on the spot. Anybody else, this is your very first meeting with us as an agent? All right, I thought so. So we're going to start at the back, Mr. Butler. You get to go first since you're not new to real estate. Tell us your name, where you came from, that kind of thing.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Marcus Butler. I've been an agent going into my third year. I came from the Buckhead.
Well, we're glad to have you, Marcus. Glad to have you with us. Welcome to Atlanta. All right, in the back corner over here, yes, sir. I'm not calling names.
Me?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
right.
Yes.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kenneth Wright. I obviously joined the real estate industry very recently. And yeah.
And he's going to give everybody a rival for dressing his very best every day. Love it. Welcome. We're glad you're here as well. All right. And last but not least, all men today. Yes, sir.
I'm Jason Kleeman. I am new to real estate, but I'm a Georgia native. So lived here all my life. Came out of the tennis industry. So I'm going to kind of tap into that industry a little bit for getting into real estate a little bit more.
Well, we love it. Welcome to you as well. Glad you are all here today. So tell us something good. I'm going to give you an inspiration because this is our culture committee's pumpkins that we're signing up front. So tell us something good. What are you thankful for? What's happening in your life? What's good going on? Yes, Mr.
I
Phillips.
am really thankful that Keller Williams First Atlanta brought Jordan Freed here last week.
Yes, Jordan Freed. I know many of y'all got to see him. Some of you did not. We're going to have him back in 2020. I'm glad to hear you enjoyed him. Who was a part of that class last week? Was it a great class for you all? Everybody loved it? Good class. Yep, good. Thank you for that. Who else? Something good happening in your world. I'll just stare at y'all. Y'all know all them. So, what do we got? What's happening? besides the ugly sweater that Michael Reinsel is wearing?
I got something good.
Hold on. Jocelyn is first, and she's going to be in culture. Go ahead.
Yes, I am just thankful to have Denise as my productivity coach.
Productivity coach Denise Mello
Yes,
Boy.
and she has made me feel like I actually belong in this business. I love you.
Belong in business. I love that. That's awesome. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Marquette. Carissa.
I'm under contract for my first deal in Virginia. We won it out of multiple offers.
Love that. Congratulations. All right, Mr. Reinsel, what do you want to tell us in your Georgia sweater?
I mean, since you called me out, I'm just saying.
Right, I got it. I'm
We are
fine.
number 4, above Alabama also.
So,
Who's number 5 now, actually?
where are all of our Alabama fans? Are y'all here? Are y'all alive? Are y'all
Look at
okay?
LSU
I look at
across
the sad
79.
faces. Alabama, it's okay. We all lose sometimes. Y'all are okay. Right? Look, you don't lose. I got it. I understand. All good. We got some birthdays in the room. We don't always have birthdays on the day, but Jimmy Barron and Anthony Spice, where's Anthony? 2 birthdays in the room, so y'all wish them a happy birthday. Should we sing to them? Y'all think we should sing? Let's sing.
It's also Adriana's birthday.
Oh, yours too. 3 birthdays. All right, y'all stand up. Jimmy's in the room. Adriana, stand up. Anthony, stand up. Let's all sing a round of happy birthday. Y'all ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Jimmy, Adriana, and Anthony. Happy birthday to you. All right, we can sing that for you guys. We don't always get to do that. Anybody else? Something you're excited about? One more, and then I'm going to show you a video. How about that? One more.
Here, I'll show you.
Yes.
My buyer just signed the BBE.
Great. So you got a buyer brokerage agreement. We love that. Well, here's a little video I wanted to show you guys. I don't always show these, but I think it's good sometimes for us to remember that as large as we are and as engaged as we are in Atlanta, as First Atlanta Keller Williams, we're part of a huge company nationwide that is worldwide. And third quarter for Keller Williams set all kind of records when there's a lot of news that's out there about real estate companies going backwards. You've seen a lot of companies that are part of the Realogy Group where they had $70+ million loss in profits. We actually had our best third quarter ever in 36 years as a company. You're going to see some new countries that joined KW in the last quarter, which I think is kind of fun. So I thought this was a fun little video. There's a weird ad that pops up for another video. I hope it doesn't today, but we're gonna see. So give me a minute. I'm gonna drag us over. Maybe. Make it happen. Hold on, pause. Don't do that yet. Hold on. No, no, man, this technology thing making this work. All right. Here we go. Y'all ready? Here's a little ad. I don't know why it's there. All right, what do y'all think about that? Do y'all like that? If I can pause this now. Cancel. We'll get rid of this. So a great third quarter, something for you guys to be proud of for KW. I love that. How many of y'all knew we were in Japan and Malaysia now? I think that's countries 38 and 39 worldwide. So if you've never explored, Adriana and I were talking about this morning, if you've never explored international business, there's some great opportunities worldwide with KW, so don't miss those as well. That's always a good thing. Say good morning as we keep moving this morning to Atlanta Peach Movers. Come on down this morning, Ms. Ruiz. We are so glad you're here. Y'all enjoying lunch this morning? Woo! Everybody liking their lunch? Good barbecue. We are thankful for them. We'll give you a microphone.
Thank you.
Let us say a few words from you this morning. We'd love that.
Well, it's still good morning. It's always a pleasure to be here. This is by far the best office that we love. So Trey Cooper this morning asked one of Lance Decker, he's one of our new salespersons, and then I have Raven over there. But Trey asked us a question this morning: what makes us special? Okay, what makes us different than every other moving company? And it's really the people. Okay, it's the people that work for the company. Just like here, what makes this office the best? It's the people that are in here. So it's our company. So what changes us compared to everybody else? One thing about us is we're the only moving company on the East Coast that basically has a 2-story trading house inside our warehouse. So what happened back in 2003, 2004, we were just like every other moving company. How did we hire? We put an ad in the paper, brought people in, had them watch a video, and then said, here, go practice in somebody's house. Guess what? The owner was writing checks and checks and checks after that, making sure that taking care of damages and everything else, because everybody was trading in people's house. So the owner said, I'm gonna build a house. So he ended up building an 800 square foot house, 2-story, cost them $30,000. It's called Peach University. These guys have to go through a 3-day training period, and they get actually a diploma. Not only that, but then when they go out, they have incentives. And the incentives are carelessness comes out of their paycheck. What do we mean by carelessness? Everything furniture is supposed to be wrapped and padded before it leaves. If it's not, and something happens to it, that means they didn't do their job they were supposed to. That is carelessness, okay? We don't tolerate carelessness, all right? That's one thing that separates us from everybody else. Also, not only that, but they also have an incentive. There's a survey that comes out the day after the move. Based on the questions that are asked, they also get an incentive based on if they do the right job. So the idea for the crew is to, when they pick up a piece of furniture, we want it to make it feel like it belongs to them, okay? So that's the incentive. That's what makes us different than everybody else. Also, what we do is if it's referred to us by an agent from Keller Williams, we do between 20 and 30 moves a day. But what happens is we have different color folders. So when it's referred by an agent, there's a special color folder on that job, so we know it's a VIP crew that has to go out there. So we know that agents can make us or break us, so understand that. So if you're coming to us, we're gonna make sure we do the right thing, but we have to also know that it's coming from you. So please, we also, if it's coming from an agent, we do a 5% discount. We offer some used boxes to them too. So there's different things that we offer to when it's referred by an agent. So please, you have my business cards there, you have some folders. Enjoy the lunch. The lunch for us is, Raven asked me what do we get him, and I said get him the best. So again, thank you for the support. We definitely love it.
Awesome. Anybody have any questions for Anna? Yes, Rachel.
That you do out of state too.
Oh, yes, we also do long distance. So the great thing about long distance is that the same crew loading here would be the same crew offloading anywhere in the United States. Also, we could bring them anywhere from the United States here, and it would be the same crew picking them up and bringing them back. We want to make sure that anybody walking into the house is our employee, background check, drug screen, 100% uniform.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions?
Okay,
Great.
enjoy the
Thank
lunch.
you guys. Now, y'all's energy is like really low. I don't know if you're cold. I don't know what's going on. So I wasn't going to do this, but you forced my hand. So that means it's hug time. 7 hugs. Everybody get up. Let's hug it out. Y'all need to pick up your energy. Give everybody a hug. Do you good? Feel better. Everybody needed a hug. Y'all already feel better. I can tell. I can tell you feel better. All right. So we've got some folks who are out. I want to talk about Keller offers next. This is important iBuyer question for you guys. So as you're grabbing your seat, I want to switch gears for just a minute before we go to our affiliate partners this morning. I want to say a few words about Keller offers. How many of you did the webinar certification last week? Raise your hand, hold up your hand really high. How many of you are leaving to jump on that call at noon? Some of y'all are doing that, some of y'all are not. I know some people are watching online because they're doing it from home today. Here's the thing, I just want to give you a couple of heads up about Keller offers. First of all, this is Keller Williams iBuyer program that is a national partnership with OfferPad. Don't confuse it with Opendoor. This is the OfferPad connection. I will tell you that I'm going to give you some takeaways from this that I had from the whole conference last Wednesday that I did. I will tell you guys that I think that it was well organized. I thought it was well presented. I thought they have a very clean and clear structure of how this is going to run. Okay, does that make sense? Now they're requiring certification, that's number one, because there are lots of little steps and lots of processes. So for you to stay in compliance, not only with Keller Williams, but to stay in compliance with OfferPad and Keller Offers, you got to follow their system. So that is important for you to understand that. That's why they're requiring the certification. Okay, any questions about that part of it? The next part I think that is super important for you to understand is there is a process. Lynn and I were on the phone this morning early about this, and here's my encouragement, here's my, we're just going to call it encouragement.
Suggestion.
I cannot bail you out, Lynn cannot bail you out in the middle of one of these contracts, okay? If you guys enter a contract with them and you try to step outside of their guidelines and their timing, I can't fix it for you, and neither can Lynn, and neither will Alita. None of us are going to be able to help you with that. They have a process and a system that is their process and their system. They own it, and you're going to follow their rules, or you're not going to play in their sandbox. I mean, they're even to the point that it's clear in the webinar, and y'all heard this last week, if you make too many screw-ups, they're going to take away your certification. I mean, that's how serious they are about this. So make sure if you're doing the webinar, you understand the process. We have grabbed some of that information to make sure we've got it super clear for everybody so that we can have it in the office in case you do have a question. But if you miss a deadline and you don't turn in this form within 48 hours after OfferPad buys your listing, you don't get to relist the house. Y'all hear me say that? That's not my rule. I would say, that's okay, list the house. OfferPad says, no, you have 48 hours. 48 hours. Okay, so make sure you're clear on the process. Make sure as you're going through your very first transaction with them, which starts November the 18th. They will be live in Atlanta on November the 18th. If you missed the webinar today, there will be other webinars coming in. I'll be posting that. They are communicating with us about additional dates, so it's not too late to do this. But just know, follow their process. Follow their guidelines. You'll have a portal, you'll have a login, you'll know what to do. Number 3, it says Lynn LaCraw. Who is Lynn LaCraw?
A garden.
Superwoman.
She's a superwoman. Who is she legally to all of us?
Managing broker.
She's our qualifying broker. She's even above that. She is our qualifying broker. OfferPad and Keller Offers are very clear about this. Alita, myself, we'd all love to sign documents for you. They say no. The only person who is going to be allowed to sign any of the documents for this entire process is going to be Lynn. So I need you to plan ahead. If you don't have Lynn's email address, make sure you have it, lynnlacraw@kw.com, because she is the only person that can sign any of the forms, and they have several that require a broker's signature throughout the process. Does that make sense? Everybody okay with that? Really, Allie? No, I'm just only because JD called you out. Sorry, he called you out. We cannot circumvent that. They're looking for that. That's part of their system. Everybody okay with that? Anybody have any questions so far? So my other takeaway is I had a conversation last week with Renee Dillon, who's standing in the back of the room. I had a conversation with Lee Cohen, and I had a conversation with Patrick McManamy. We are not restricted from using our preferred attorney partners. In fact, I would encourage you to use them. Did you already reach out to your person at First American?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So there is a title company, because we're an attorney closed state. They are in title closed states and other places. They have made a national arrangement with First American Title. All of our attorney partners have relationships with them, but that is who they have to close with, and so we're not sure how all that's gonna sync together. I would say, as you're making offers, as you're working with buyers on listings that you're gonna list with them, write down Gannick, write down McManamy, write down Campbell. They're not gonna stop us, they just have to be in partnership with First American, and they all are. Yeah, Renee?
And just to add, all of your alliance partners, we all have agencies with all the major agencies,
Yep.
title insurance
Yep.
agencies in town, so you're always safe putting us into these contracts.
Absolutely.
That's not true with a lot of smaller firms. A lot of smaller firms maintain only one or two title insurance company agencies, so, definitely a reason, yet another good reason to close with us, but, if somebody is trying to write a small firm into the contract, you need to check, because all Keller Offer cares is that title insurance is written on First American, they don't really care who owns it.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to give our attorney partners a heads up so that they are prepared to be in conversation in advance of this, so that when they get it, they already know what's going on. Okay, so that's why I want y'all to hear that. I want to clarify one of my biggest takeaways, number 4, is this whole idea of how these commissions are going to work. Inman News posted an article that says Keller Williams is encouraging you to list homes for 0%. Did anybody see this? That is not exactly true. That is not exactly true. OfferPad is going to pay 1% when you sell them the listing. They're going to pay 1% when you represent them to list the home for sale. You are not restricted from charging additional commission to the original seller of the house if you want to. Their encouragement is not to do that. That's the 0%. You're going to get paid on this transaction, okay? You're going to get paid in this transaction. But if you feel like you need to charge your seller additional commission, that's your choice. It may or may not fit into the fee structure for you to win that deal. Does that make sense? That's why it's a personal choice for you to do that. Another takeaway that I got from this is if you list the house, so Diana Thorne sold the house to OfferPad, now she's filled out the proper paperwork and she's gonna list it for OfferPad back on the open market with her sign. She has 48 hours to get that paperwork back to them. You cannot represent an unrepresented buyer on the other side of the contract. Okay, that was a question that I had, Lynn had, we were curious about it. You cannot represent both sides, one as a client, one as a customer. They won't even let you do it that way. So I would encourage you, if you're on a team, somebody else on your team can represent the buyer for teams. If you don't have a team, if you're an individual agent, you might want to make a referral to somebody if you have an unrepresented buyer. So there's some ways to work around that, but your name cannot be on both sides of the contract. That was a takeaway I think you should be aware of. Is that okay with everybody? Again, I think my other biggest takeaway is there is no gray. This is a black and white system. So if systems stress you out, this may not be for you, because I'm telling you, it is black and white. They have deadlines, they have dates, they have structures, they have portals. You use their stuff. Does that make sense? Yeah, Diana.
A couple of questions. One, back years ago when we did short sales,
Yep.
we had to be certified for short sales.
Yep.
And then many people decided that was not the business model for them, regardless. And so there were people, preferred people in our office who really focused on that. Are we going to have that in our office, number one? No.
It's really up to you if you
Okay.
want to do it or not. We're not going to make this a big platform.
But what I'm saying, like, so if I take the listing, help them buy it, if I want to give it to someone else.
You can do that.
So we're not going to have.
No. If they're certified and they want to list it, they can do that. Again, Lynn has to sign all that paperwork. Yep. Connie?
If you're using a closing coordinator, how would they interact with this process?
They're gonna have your logins like they would for anything else that you give to them, and that closing coordinator has to follow those deadlines and dates. So if you use a closing coordinator, make sure they know they have to follow that portal system.
Do they need to go through the certification?
They
piece
don't
as
have
well?
to be certified, it's all under your name. Yeah, Scott?
Unrepresented buyer, we can't do it, but if we get an unrepresented buyer, can we refer?
You can refer it.
Okay.
You can refer an unrepresented buyer, you just can't put your name on both sides of the contract, even with a customer-client piece. Yeah, Ariel?
Does the, if it's your offer, if it's your listing through the Keller Offers, does the buyer's agent have to be certified?
No.
Just regular?
Any buyer's agent can bring the buyer. It's a good question. So I think the other piece of this that is important is this is an opportunity for you to communicate with your database about what's going on. They have a very clear net to close sheet. That net proceeds sheet will be a huge help to you in this business. Whether you want to encourage them to do an iBuyer or not, it may help you get a traditional sale because the way they set up their net sheets, they actually start with you as an agent and all your costs versus selling it to OfferPad or some other iBuyer program. So it's a very clean system. I thought it was a great way to do that because they're going to be out there shopping. And this way you can do a comparison. Our goal is for you to be able to list it traditionally and put it on the open market. We all know they can get better income back to them by doing that. This helps you with that. Okay, I think that's an important takeaway from this whole certification as well. iBuyers are not going away, so I think ignoring them would be a mistake in your business. Not that you want to run with this all the time, but they're definitely part of our system, so I would encourage you to do that. And I think that you'll find that it is really more realtor friendly than you expected. Would y'all agree with that, those of you who did the certification? It's worth doing that. Any other thoughts around this that y'all did, Bill?
An additional thought that you didn't bring up is NAR just came up with some new regulation about pocket listings and coming soons and pre-marketing. Part of this program was when OfferPad closes on it, our sign stays up as a coming soon until they finish with it and it hits the market. Do we have any feeling on how that will work based on what NAR just did?
I don't have any idea of that yet. It's stuff that we're monitoring. We were looking at things like agency and the coming soon, and there is definitely a pattern. If those of you who've done the webinar will know there's a pattern that they show when the house closed originally with OfferPad or potential renovation period before it goes back on the open market. And I don't know how long that might take and what our rules and regs are going to be around having a sign stay in a yard. Okay, there are some clear rules about MLS, if it's in there, if it's not, who the agency, all that's in the webinar. We'll review that later in a different type of class setting, but I just wanted to give y'all some heads up around this. This is a chance for you to touch your database, let them know you have a program that you can address this because they're getting hammered with mailings and media messages about iBuyers in the Atlanta market, right? Y'all are all feeling that. So go out there and tell them you got this. Tell them what you can offer and what you can do. Mike?
Jack, can I share a takeaway?
Yeah.
So I thought it was huge that you can actually leverage Keller Offers without ever writing a Keller offer going into one of those offers because it's our job to represent our clients in the best way and share every single possibility with them, right? And I think through that we build more trust with our clients, and that can turn out to be, a better deal than
100%.
And then second is that, from what I understand, correct if I'm wrong, but with the Keller Offers program, the buyer is still represented fiduciarily with an agent, and that's not the case with any other iBuyer program. So
That's correct.
you're represented as a customer.
There
So
is
that's
an
huge.
agent who has them as a client. That's exactly right. Now, one last thing on a takeaway for what Mike said, touching your database, giving them information, what we were talking about. If you have somebody in your database that does not know that you work with OfferPad, and they don't know that you can do this for them, and they call OfferPad and ask for an offer, and you're not involved, you're not involved. So this is why it's important for you to go ahead and tell your database, put it on social media that you are a representative with Keller Offers powered by OfferPad. They've got some marketing materials that are gonna come out, I understand, later this week for you to start using, but I would say start leveraging that at a high level. I think, Krista, you posted something already, right? Did you
No,
do-
I asked about it.
Yep, so we're gonna post it as quick as you get it. I think the sooner you do that, because if I have a listing and they decide to go get an OfferPad offer and they didn't go through you, you're out of the equation. That's how their systems work. Yes, ma'am.
Is there a sales price cutoff with OfferPad?
They do have what they call a buyer box. There's some guidelines. We've talked about those. Right now in Atlanta, it is up to $500,000. I'll be surprised if they actually go that high, but that is what they have. And they're not available in all zip codes. Some zip codes don't fall into it. Things like septic tanks and gated communities. They will do condos. They will do townhomes. The only way they'll do a condo is that there's a certain cap for the HOA monthly fee. So there's all kind of things they
They
address
don't
with that.
touch septic.
They have not touched septic so far. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on iBuyers? Yes, sir.
Just one quick question. Since you mentioned OfferPad, let's say for instance, if I have a client who's interested in a property that's owned by OfferPad, that would be just a regular transaction?
Regular transaction, you would get paid 3% as the buyer's agent. Great question. Yep. All right. Say good morning to Atlantic Bay. Ladies, come on down, because we've got an entire PowerPoint presentation coming from Renee Dillon. She's like gonna do something amazing here in a minute. So y'all get to go first.
We'll be super quick.
So y'all are first.
Good morning, afternoon. Deborah Shaw, I think. So one thing we wanted to talk to y'all about are bridge loans, which we're getting a ton of calls. For a while they went away, and most people would do a first and a second to purchase if they needed the extra cash or they weren't selling their home first. Bridge loans are back. It helps with the overall rate, but what it does, let's say you have a listing that's not selling, but they want to go ahead and purchase. It's interest only. I mean, there's different programs, but most of them are interest only at a very low rate for the first year. There's a program that's a 12-month that they pay it back once they sell the house, and there's a 35-month. Those are the most common ones that we're seeing. But what it does is when you do a first and a second, that hits the rate a little. When you do a bridge loan, it's taking the equity off their current home and using it for the home that they're trying to buy. So it helps people that just need the liquid cash. Obviously, there's credit and debt to income ratios, but I think I've done 3 in the past month and gotten a ton of calls on it. So they're back. If you want to talk about it, let us know.
It's a great option, especially because a lot of people are, either not wanting to sell and they don't want people coming through their home for many reasons, whether it's they have dogs or children or whatever it might be. So it's a great option. But for those who don't have equity in their house, we do have great options with just 5% down. So as long as they can come up with 5%, we can go up to $2 million. And there's a way to make it where they can actually get the rate adjusted, the actual loan amount adjusted so that their payment goes down without a refinance. So it's a pretty awesome program. So definitely feel free to call us and ask us. But again, bridge loans or 5% down up to $2 million.
Yep. Awesome. Thank y'all, ladies. Appreciate it. Easy, easy. Come on down, Manic PC. I'm gonna give you both items. Yes. So look. I'll go fix this little clip for you because I've made something over.
Perfect. Hi, I'm Renee Dillon with Gannett PC. I'm one of the owners of the firm. This is Mike Baer. He is an attorney in our Midtown office, and he put together the wonderful PowerPoint that I'm about to show you.
Oh, I thought you did. I was giving you all kind of credit. Like, look
I
at
mean,
the
absolutely not.
This
Absolutely
PowerPoint.
not. This is my second in a row, so it's setting really unreasonable expectations. for my
Every single
folks.
time.
All right, so this is to show you a new program that we rolled out called Close Simple, which is basically a communication tool about where your file is, what's happening with it once it's in our office. We are elevating the closing experience for you. So you will get a text confirmation when your file is opened by us, letting you know that we've received it, it's been opened, title's been ordered, it's in process. You get welcome emails to your clients telling them what to expect during the closing process. You're gonna get an introduction to the attorney, which you can send them. Has my pretty picture on there. Love that. Part of this also, your clients are gonna get multiple warnings about wire fraud, and pretty much almost every one of these communications contains, is that right? Contains
I
something
don't think
about
we
wire
can
fraud.
talk enough to our clients through the process about wire fraud.
No.
Like,
It's still
talk about it
happening,
often
still
and
happens
always.
all the time.
Yep.
Buyers and sellers can put their information in online, they don't have to fill anything out, fax it in. If you close with us, we have a system called SafeWire where they go in and put they get the wiring instructions from SafeWire, and sellers can also put in their wire instructions to SafeWire. It's very safe, it's about the safest thing on the market right now to help protect from wire fraud. You will receive an update once the title package has been delivered to the lender. That means once we have sent title over, the lender has it. Scheduling emails. I know a lot of the good closing coordinators and a lot of the good assistants will send out these scheduling emails. We're going to send one out as well, just confirming the time, the location. You'd be surprised how many people show up at the wrong office for closings. And we have to send them to Midtown or Gwinnett, somewhere else. A scheduling confirmation text. This I love, for my office in particular. It has our address in there. You can click on the address and it will navigate you to our office. My lovely building refuses to put the numbers on our outside sign, so people tend to have a hard time finding it sometimes. But this will take you right to it. Right? And we're also going to be shooting a video that's also going to be giving you the video experience of how to get into all of our offices too. Stay tuned for that one. We send out an update once we receive the lender's closing package. We've talked with lenders, and we always talk a lot the difference between clear to close and when we've actually gotten the closing package, or when the loan's been approved. So this lets you know that we've actually gotten the documents that your buyers need to sign. You will get a confirmation once we receive the buyer's wire, which I think is huge. I love that one because buyers are always worried about when their wire has gotten here, whether it hasn't gotten here. So you should be receiving a text confirmation when we get it. If you don't have the text confirmation, make sure your buyer's calling our office or calling their bank to make sure that the wire's been sent out. Then you will get a closing confirmation after the closing with an electronic version of the signed settlement statement. And we electronically record our deeds. So after they're electronically recorded, your client gets emailed a copy of the recorded deeds with the duplicate page stamped on it, right? That's it.
That is an elevated closing
It
experience.
is an elevated closing experience.
I love it.
So, if you aren't interested in communication or updates, we can turn this off on your file. We actually had somebody request it because it was a closing coordinator that closes so many transactions with us. They didn't have the emails, but you will get this on every file. It's something to pass on to your clients, and just let you know what's happening in the closing process, and let you know that everything is on track. Yes.
A couple questions on that intro or that welcome letter. Can that be co-branded with the agent and the closing attorney?
We've actually been exploring that, and I'm talking to the vendor about that. So I don't have all the answers on that, but we're looking into it.
All right.
Great question.
And then the last, the thing that seems to take one of the things that takes the longest from our side to coordinate is the actual closing time. Can somebody go in and actually just click that they want 10 o'clock on such and such day yet, or is that still?
Not with his notification system. Right now, we're relying on the closing coordinators to coordinate that with the parties.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get to the point where we let people get into our calendars. So, I always say
That sounds like a lot of fun.
That's
right? Like, that doesn't seem like that would be stressful at all. Like, they just randomly go change things.
Who scheduled an 8 o'clock for Renee? We know that she can get there. I always say schedule early, schedule often, and just talk to our closing coordinators.
Right.
We can always move the closing, but just make sure you go ahead and get that time scheduled pretty much as soon as you get the contract signed and sent over. Yes.
Will there be a way where when we receive the confirmations, if we can, so that we can filter it and have it go to the folder of the property address? Is there a way that we can do that?
What folder?
I'm just saying, like, when we create folders, is there a way that we can get these confirmations
I
and
mean,
then
setting a rule on your own Outlook or Gmail.
set it up? Yeah, so when we get them, we'll have the address.
All of them are coming from the same email address, and they have the same, I think it's mechanic closing update. So if you set a rule with that to go to a particular folder, you can do that.
But they may all go to the
Yeah, they
same
might go to
folder,
the
yeah. They may not be address specific to do that.
All of the subject lines have the address.
But I was impressed he knew that because I was thinking, what is she talking about? I was what are we talking about?
I look like a deer in the headlights, that's why Mike was here.
I was hanging out with you, Renee. I was like, come on over. I don't know.
Folder.
All right, I didn't
But
know.
all of the subject lines have the address. Okay. So you can swipe them into.
Good point, good question. I love it. Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes we want to use our partners, but we are forced to use other attorney. And I'm the listing agent with a property. I have to use another attorney I don't know. And that attorney was late requesting the payoff from the bank. So we are risking to don't close on time because the bank didn't send that payoff. In that situation, should we use the unilateral or what we need to do? Because it's not the seller's fault that the letter didn't come on time, the payoff from the bank.
I mean, basically, the buyer should be using it to, well, or y'all, I guess y'all should be using it to extend because the attorney's not ready.
Yeah, it would be something I would communicate with the other agent and figure out who's going to do the unilateral. And I would probably put it back on the buyer. I'd be like,
I would put it back on the buyer, and I put it on the buyer, and
Yep.
honestly, I mean, I always say try to avoid using the unilateral extension. If y'all can agree to just extend the closing date,
just do an amendment.
just
Yeah.
do an amendment and extend the closing date.
Works.
Yeah, the agent is not that nice, it's not a Keller Williams. So
I
we
understand.
try to use-
That happens.
There is that problem as well.
That problem happens.
Yeah, but good question. All right, well, we appreciate you guys as
Thank you.
always. Thank y'all.
Thank you all.
Thanks for the presentation. I love it. Hey, I want to talk for just a quick minute this morning about your website. And Hutch is in the room, so he's my backup person on this one. And actually, I announced in the video this morning, and it's an announcement we do in a minute, at 2 o'clock today, Hutch is coming on the 4th floor, and if you want to talk more about websites, that's part of the conversation he'll have with you today, right? He is ready, and Hutch has been sick with the flu. He's well. He's not contagious. We promise. He's back. So, how many of you have set up your new Keller Williams website? All right, I see hands going up. It's working, right? It's functioning. We're getting there. It's learning. I want to talk to you about why it doesn't matter. Does anybody know what an IDX site is? Let's be technical for just a moment.
Internet data exchange.
It's an internet data exchange. Yes. Thank you for reading that with me. Here's what's unique about this. An internet data exchange website is unique to a single MLS relationship, or if you have to go out and get multiple relationships to run their feed, right? And so it can very much limit what information you share through your website. Does that make sense? Because if you have an IDX, which we do with FMLS, Georgia MLS, that's the feed that would go through your website. Why do people sometimes not use your website? What do they want to see?
They want to see step outside of this.
They want to see outside of this market. So where do they end up going?
Zillow.
Zillow. Where else do they go? Realtor.com, Trulia. They're going to platforms that have a much broader relationship with multiple MLSs. And I'd share with you guys way back, KW bought a company called Smarter Agent that has all the patents for the interfaces with the IDXs and the MLSs, which allowed us to build an entirely new search platform. So my question to you today is, are you limiting your business with an IDX website? And the answer is yes, you are. You're limiting your business. So if you're holding on to a website because you like the way it looks and it's designed, and I know it's a pain to make a change, I get that, but you may be limiting yourself because it may be only IDX specific to this area, right? Our new websites go beyond that. They want more, customers want more from an experience, right? They want a lot more. They want to be able to search lots of different information, lots of different things, and your new website can do that. They're the first step in a more front-facing consumer experience that's powered through artificial intelligence. What is our artificial intelligence platform called? Kelly. Her name is Kelly. Yep. Kelly is remembering things that your clients are going to do in the website, places they're searching, things that they liked, parameters they're setting up. Just like that similarly happens in some ways on other websites. So we're going to give them a more enhanced customer experience through your new website. The search platforms will remember different, like I said, likes and searches that they have saved, and they can do collections in there. All of this will then port over to your new mobile app experience, which I am still anticipating the first quarter of next year. That's what I think. I'm going to stick to that. Additionally, it is not limited by IDX technologies. So you can truly search anywhere in the United States. Why does that matter? Because it could be more business for you. How many of you know somebody that does not live in Atlanta? I hope all of us know somebody who does not live in Atlanta. They potentially can buy and sell a home. Everybody is looking to buy and sell a home. Why can't you be their expert in Oakland, California? You can be. You may not be able to show them homes, but you can certainly make a referral connection, and they can use your website to make those referral connections. Does that make sense? You cannot do that with your current websites that we just closed down. Now, if you're using a third-party vendor to power your website, the widget that is the search platform will be available to you. It is not yet, correct, Hutch?
Not yet.
Not yet, but I would still encourage you to become familiar with it and go look at it through command, because you're going to be able to drag the search platform to your third-party powered website and open up your whole business through that portal. Does that make sense? Is everybody tracking with me? How many of y'all think about websites and your just mind glazes over? I do too. It's not my big thing. This is simple. Hutch, would you say 2 or 3 things that make this more simple than anything else to set up?
I think that it's simple because, I mean, it doesn't cost you much time, but on the other hand, there's not many pages right now, right? Going forward, though, you'll have full access to all of your pages in one place.
Yep.
Just like you mentioned that they're, I'm going to make up a word, widgetizing the search.
Yep.
Everything will be widgetized. So you won't have to know how to code or anything to make your website look fancy going forward. So just think of it this way. Right now, this is just the foundation.
Yeah.
But as they widgetize all these components, you'll be able to build very creative landing pages, be more creative with your, like highlight listings. That's one of the big ones. That my current listings. Why can't I do that much? All of that's coming.
It's all
It'll be
coming.
a little widget, and so you can drag it to a landing page or add it where you want it on your website.
It's literally going to be click and point and drag, and your website's going to update.
And it'll just happen for
Yeah.
you. You won't have to know how to correct code or reformat.
And we'll talk in the days ahead just some reminder things about this closed platform of technology that KW has built and why that's powerful, because one of the things that will happen as well is you get a new headshot. You get a new marketing piece that you want to do. You can update everything in one place and not go searching around and try to figure out how to do it. It's just going to, as you update your marketing information, your website updates. It's
Your
all
email,
very simple.
Your landing pages.
Everything will update automatically for you, and you don't have to go around and try to figure out how to do this like we've had to do it before, right? It's a one-stop shop opportunity. So I wanted to talk about this today because, you know, as we've been talking on a national level, I was on a call yesterday, I was in a special lab yesterday with Keller Williams Tech, and one of the things that they said was that people have been slow to change over some of their websites, and I think it's because a lot of people just don't know what it does and why it matters. IDX limits you to 1, maybe 2 MLS searches. This allows you to search every MLS all across the United States. Is that a better opportunity for your consumer?
Yes, it is.
That's what consumers want. So making this switch to this is important. 2 o'clock today, Hutch will show you how to do that. Right? Yes, he's smiling. Yes, Diana, you had a question, then Mike.
That Smarter Agent that we can cross
Smarter
all
Agent
platforms.
is the back end powering it. You probably won't ever see them or hear about them, but they're back there working. Mike?
This is towards Hot. When will it be widgetized, to use your made-up word?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know if that's actually
you said it's foundational
month by
now.
month. So the way this works briefly, guys, is I won't get into all the technical. Labs move very fast. They do 3-week sprints. Look for your biggest improvement every 3rd Tuesday, okay? That's when you'll see widgets appear, and then you get kind of, it's like getting a big box from Amazon. You don't get another big box for 3 weeks because they run in 3-week sprints, but about every 3 weeks. So if you look at the 22nd when the websites drop, start looking 3 Tuesdays from the 22nd, 3 Tuesdays later, and then that's when you want to go in and look. But they're saying every 3 weeks, when they complete these sprints, they should have a couple of new widgets available every 3 weeks.
But you're saying start now, it's functional now?
Oh, it's functional.
As a foundation, you know, I think that the recommendation more or less was, listen, if you're not generating just a ton of leads from your website right now and everything, and Placester was just there because it served as an umbrella of credibility, right? When people search your name, if you don't have a website, you're not real, right? Now all of a sudden you have a website, ooh, I'm real. So, yeah, this website serves that purpose, plus it's a great search feature on it. It's a great search
feature. If you've not played with it, it's worth doing that for sure.
Much better than Placester had. That search feature on Placester was limited, to Mike's point, you know. So it's just
all indications to Hutch's point on the dates where there will be a massive update before Thanksgiving. That is kind of what I was told yesterday on this call with about 20 people. So we'll see. We'll see what that looks like.
Yeah, it's a 3-week sprint.
Yep. All right, so who does direct messaging? Who uses direct messaging in your Legion? I see hands going up. Who like, what in the world is direct messaging? Y'all know what it is? Yep. What platforms can you direct message in right now? Instagram, where else? Facebook. LinkedIn, you can direct message, right? So I told y'all I'd been privileged to hear someone talk about a direct message challenge to help you enhance your likability. This is an entire process to enhance your likability. If you are not fun to hang out with person to person, you might want to consider direct messaging as an alternative to enhance your likability, because now you're hiding behind technology. Wow. So I'm just giving you a heads up. All right, so here we go. It's offensive. So here's the goal. Here's the direct message challenge. Set a goal to engage in 60 direct message exchanges in no more than 3 hours.
How do you do that?
How many of y'all think that's a hard thing to do? Where are my millennials? How many millennials go, whatever, that's easy?
No, it's hard.
It's a challenge. It's a challenge.
It is not hard.
Okay, so Denise is older and she says it's not. Okay, hold on. Here's how this works. Set a goal, get your 60 names, and you're going to slowly open up chat windows, direct message windows, with 60 people. 60 people. Here's the rules. Don't lead the direct message challenge with a real estate fact.
Can you just give us a script?
I'm fixing to give you one. I'm going to give it to you super simple. You cannot lead with real estate.
Thank God.
You cannot lead with real estate. How many of you have seen this meme with the cat? If you got one you like, lead with that. That's what you're going to lead with. Make it a goal to make them like you. So send something funny. Send a meme. Send a GIF. Send a poem. I don't know what it is. Send something that is not related. And try to make someone smile. Why do you want to make someone smile? They remember you. When you smile, when you're happy, you release endorphins that make you connect to people, that make you smile. Yes?
Look on their Facebook, Instagram webpage, see what they just did most recently, and comment on it. If they had a birthday, if they had a birth.
You can do that.
That's not 60 to 30. But that's not DM, is it?
That's
It's
a
a
comment
good
on that.
start.
It's a start. This is an open DM window, chat window. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Everybody tracking? I don't care what you send, you're not sending real estate. This is just about touching people in your social media platforms with a direct message. That's the challenge. It's deepening relationships. Y'all, this is as easy as it gets. You don't have to say anything about it. There's no script. You can literally send a meme of the woman and the cat, send a smiley face crying emoji, and move on. Your goal is to see if they reply to you. How many of you have done something similar to this and gotten replies? What do they reply with, Carissa?
Emojis.
An emoji.
Yeah, stuff like that, or they answered, like I commented on, I sent a direct message about something on their Facebook page, like their family, and then they just started talking about themselves.
So Cody Gibson, who is part of the United Home Group with Keller Williams, he did this with his buyer's agents in his office, and he said his millennials in the office had entire conversations with not one word exchanged. It was just a series of memes and GIFs and emojis. Do you think that mattered?
Yes.
Yes, this is about deepening relationships, making them like you, making them remember you. Because what could they possibly do with that thing that you send them? Forward it to somebody else or share it, and they're going to remember you sent it to them. So my challenge to you is to do this whole thing, engage with them, 60 people, you've got 3 hours to do it, and if you make this a goal to do this regularly, what is that keeping you with the people in your database? Connected, top of mind. Are you talking about real estate?
No.
Is there any pressure?
No.
No, you're just helping them like you. And remember, top agents work hard, they're likable, and they stay education-based. So this helps you in that arena. Is everybody okay?
Yes.
Don't be skeptical. I promise. I heard lots of great feedback from this class I was in that people got great results just doing this. Because you might get this message. Hey Tripp, I'm so glad you reached out to me. I was just thinking I needed to call you about buying a home. It happens, right? If he didn't send it, they might not remember that they were supposed to call him. Josh said just in the back of the room.
Right? Does
Yes,
this
she
work?
makes me do 20 a day.
Okay, so
But
it
you
works,
said
right?
60.
I'm just giving you an idea. Just keeping it simple. Reach out to your database. Do the direct message challenge. Do it in groups of 60 at a 3-hour stint. If you did that one day a week, can it make a difference in your business?
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is not hard. There's 1,000 of those stupid cats floating around right now on the internet. Pick one. Just pick one. Everybody okay? All right, a few announcements. Today, 2 o'clock, Hutch is talking about command and website. He's going to be on the 4th floor. Go see him. He's not contagious, I swear. The calendar continues to run with tech. Tomorrow, Hutch will be back here in the main training room. This is the TCO2 Basics of Using Command class. Yes, upstairs.
Changed it to 1.
1 o'clock.
No, sorry, changed it to the first class. We're gonna start the series over.
Start the
again,
series
'cause I missed
over.
Thursday.
So this is getting started in command tomorrow from
Then
11 to 1.
Next Tuesday, 02, and then next Thursday, we catch up.
We'll
on
update the
03.
calendar just so y'all know that's coming.
Sorry, Mike.
That's
My
okay.
bad.
That's okay. In next week, Monday, Clark is doing a class at 10 o'clock on handling objections. You don't want to miss that. All about scripts, for those of you who like scripts. Floor Planner has a webinar tomorrow at 1:15. Celia will post that link again if you'd like to learn more about Floor Planner and what that can do for you in creating floor plans for your business. That webinar is tomorrow. Tomorrow, I am doing a Farming 101 class. I have taught this series before. I'm going to go back and do the basics of farming tomorrow for you. It will be live. It will probably be in a Zoom format. I'll post that link early in the morning, but that is at 2 o'clock tomorrow. It's an hour-long class. We'll be right here talking about Farming 101. And that's not planting seeds. It's like really farming, like farming geographic. We're doing it. All right, if you have not signed up for Thanksgiving Feast, it is next Thursday, 11:30 to 1. We're going to be right here. You can still sign up for drinks and some desserts. Cornbread and Caviar as our caterer. They'll have all the food set up. You're getting text messages, emails. You can sign up at the front desk. We just need to count for the caterer. Make this a priority. It's great food. It's a great time to hang out. I'm also going to be announcing at that event next week our 2020 Agent Leadership Council and who they all are. So you'll want to be here for that announcement. That is next week. We have one final career night left in 2020. It is going to be on December the 5th. That's a Thursday night, December the 5th at 6:30 right here in the training room. So feel free to invite some folks about a career opportunity for 2020. And that is us. If you cannot be kind today, please be quiet. That is my encouragement for you today. If you cannot be kind, be quiet. Go enjoy your day. Love you guys. Appreciate y'all. Don't be afraid of the website. Go do 60 DMs. Have fun. I thought that was only Instagram DM. Well, you could do like a Facebook chat.
Like posting on public, or it has to be just between you and them?
Just between you and them.
Okay, so don't comment on pictures or anything like that.
You can comment, but you want to have a private one-on-one.